Well, we have concluded day 5. I'm joined once again by two-time Olympian and world champion James Magnussen. Maggie, not our best night so far in the pool.
Please excuse me for feeling a little bit flat here, Matty. We had 3 shots at gold tonight, came away with 2 silvers and a missed medal completely. We can partly attribute that to our man Brent Reid, who is the kiss of death when it comes to Olympic gold.
It's unbelievable. We're going to see Reedy in a second. This is Reedy's second Olympics, and he is yet to see an Aussie win gold live. Now, tonight he turned up and said, tonight's the night. It didn't happen. So
he is banned from the swimming pool for the rest of the week.
He went to shake hands with one of the Aussie swim coaches. I said, get away, it might be contagious. Mollie O'Callaghan, Missile, was favoured to win it, didn't place. How much is it fatigue?
Yeah, so Matty, 2 things. Firstly, that there is the fatigue factor. So she races night 1, 4x100 freestyle relay, gold medal, sky high emotionally. Then you've got to come back down that next day to swim the heats of the 200 freestyle. Very hard to do. She gets through the heats and semis of the 200 freestyle, boom, sky high again for the 200 freestyle final, wins gold, then straight back down to earth again for the 100 freestyle heats. Goes through heat, semis, finals. Again tonight, she tries to get up, just can't get the job done.
Yeah.
That's probably partly inexperience. This is the first time she's done this heavy of a program at Olympic Games, but also that Olympic Games factor, which means the emotions are higher, the stakes are higher, the environment is more imperfect, the beds, the travel, all of that stuff that we've spoken about all week, and she certainly felt that.
So it's like not just physically fatigued, emotionally getting up. Right, if you're her coach, what would have you suggested she do?
It's a good question, Matty. I think the big thing is you have to get through those heats and semis with as little emotion as possible. The other thing that Mollie spoke about tonight was in her press conference afterwards, she said, I was just too nervous. The nerves got the better of me. And you know what's really interesting about that? So she wins the 200 freestyle last night. You'd think the pressure's off, but such is the gravity and the tension of a 100 freestyle Olympic final. She felt that again, that extra level when it came to the 100 tonight.
Okay, so we've spoken there about Mollie, the ability to get yourself up again, which makes what we're talking, the French guy, Marchand, what he did tonight was remarkable. Gold in the 200 butterfly, which is hard enough itself, then backs up an hour later and wins again. Okay, firstly, the butterfly. What do you think of his performance?
Amazing performance. We haven't seen anything like this since Michael Phelps. We honestly haven't. He won the 400 IM earlier in the week. Now he's gone 2 200 gold medals on the same night. Couple of things I noticed that I pointed out to you after that 200 butterfly. Firstly, he didn't overly celebrate after the race. Secondly, as soon as they sang the national anthem, he got off the podium and walked straight off pool deck. Didn't do the photos, didn't walk around to the crowd's admiration and celebrate the win. He just brought that energy straight back down, calm, relaxed, walked off pool deck. Even though the crowd was at fever pitch, he blocked that out and went straight back into game mode. And that showed experience beyond his years. He's only 22. This is the first time that he's been in this position at an Olympic Games. Marchand, he's essentially the French Michael Phelps right now, and he should have 4 individual gold medals by the end of this Olympic Games, which is only 1 less than Michael Phelps. France, not strong in the relay, so he can't pick up those medals there. He's huge over here. We heard the crowd tonight, Matty, that the national anthem is a special event.
Okay, so what do you think he did in between? That 1 hour after getting up, a monumental effort to win the 200 butterfly, such a hard stroke to the butterfly. Then an hour later gets out there, wins gold in the 200-metre breaststroke. You spoke about how he got himself up, or subdued himself emotionally, got himself back up. What did he do physically?
So I'd say straight in the ice bath, get that body temperature back down as soon as possible, jump on the massage bed, probably have 4 masseuses on him, 1 on each arm and leg, flush out all that lactic acid, jump in the pool, swim down to get rid of the rest of that lactic acid, and then just be as still as possible in mind and in body.
Would he have eaten at all?
He would have had to have had a bit of a snack, but the butterflies are churning at this point. Like, it's an Olympic Games, it's finals, so it's very hard to eat. I'd say more liquid, like a protein shake or some sort of energy drink or something like that. But It's incredible for a swimmer of his age to show that composure in front of a home crowd. And then in direct contrast to what he did after the 200 butterfly, 200 breaststroke, he wins, he gets up on the lane rope, he celebrates, he stands behind the block, celebrates again. He really lapped it up then. So that just showed he was expecting to win that 100 breast, which is why he didn't, 200 breast, which is why he didn't celebrate after the 200 butterfly.
Excuse me for being naive. Does he swim again tomorrow night?
Not tomorrow night. He'll swim tomorrow morning in the 200 IM heats, then semis, and he'll progress across to the 200 IM finals the following night.
So what does he do tonight?
He's going to come down again emotionally. It's a hell of a week, isn't it? It's a hell of a week. And you know what? The reason it took Phelps a couple of Olympics to win those 8 gold medals, you know, he was in Sydney as a 15-year-old. He was in Athens. Said there he wanted to go for 8. I think he got 6 and was very disappointed. He didn't get it till his 3rd games. Why? Because that's when he knew how to ride the roller coaster, which is a week of Olympic swimming. And it almost gets to a point where those Olympic gold medals become more commonplace to them. So they do emotionally get less invested and less excited in those big races.
The final swim, Cole Chalmers, he got a silver. What do you think would he be happy with that?
He looked disappointed after the race. He looked visibly disappointed, which I understand. Like I've spoken to you about before, you have to be convinced that you're about to win a gold medal when you stand on those blocks. So it is a shock to any swimmer like Kyle when he doesn't win a gold medal. Kyle's now won 3, he's won medals at 3 consecutive Olympic Games in the 100 freestyle, which is quite unprecedented to have that longevity in 100 freestyle. But that race, Matty, 46.4 seconds, broke the world record by nearly half a second, the Chinese swimmer. Young 19-year-old, we hadn't heard of him before this year in the swimming world. And now he's just coming out and blitzed an Olympic final. It's the first time since 1972 that a 100 freestyler has beaten the silver medalist by more than a second.
Jeez, I tell you, and when he walked past, we saw Kyle, went past, said, stay on to see Kyle. He walked past, he said, looked disappointed. And he walked, the Chinese swimmer walked past like he had real strut. He was strutting along, and the body, honestly, was like looking into a mirror. It was,
You're built for 100 freestyle, I've told you that.
I know, I'm a thoroughbred. Just let me go. Just quickly before we get the angel of death, Rudy in. One thing you noticed, the Chinese swimmer, last one of the blocks. They were on the blocks. He didn't even have the tracksuit off.
Mind games, Matty. It's all mind games. So he was basically saying to those other swimmers, you're in my race. This works on my time. You wait for me. We see it happen in football quite a bit. It's something that I used to do a bit when I was in lane 4. If I came out last, just to let everybody else know, I'm coming. I'm the last one on the blocks. You work to my time.
Righto, it's time to bring him in. It's been Brent Reed comes in. Hey, Reedy, hey.
I prefer Black Widow. I'm going to take the kiss of death. Thanks very much.
Oh, mate, the time of purification is upon us. Hey, let's start with the positive. Jess Fox, another gold.
Yeah.
And some say her greatest win.
Well, the father said that, Matty, so that puts that in perspective for you. I mean, obviously, we all know how good Jess Fox is. Won the gold in the C1 4 years ago, won gold in the K1 earlier in this Olympics, comes out, backs up and wins the C1 again. And I mean, it's just the icing on the cake. I think we can now say that Jess Fox, 4-time Olympian, multiple gold medalist, has defended the C1 title. I think she's the greatest athlete we've got right now in this country. I think when you put it all together, it's not just what she does on the water.
It's really trying to fight me over here.
What do you mean? Who you got? Ariane? You got Ariane? I'm going with Jess Fox.
Hayley McEwen is about to win 3 individual gold medals.
I'll go with that. Well, it's a split hair between them. It's a split hair.
Hey, you come on our show. Come on our show and just start throwing darts.
But it's everything that goes with Jess Fox, Matty. You know, I mean, she is a class act on and off the water, as I said. You know, she's intelligent, she's articulate, she's attractive. I can see her on cereal boxes and on television ads and on the television stations. We get back to Australia in a few weeks' time because she's the ultimate athlete. And I acknowledge the swimmers are pretty good too, James. But you know, I think Jess deserves everything she gets.
Well, Rudy, when as you said, you meet her, she is so nice.
Oh, so
yeah,
nice.
she's lovely.
But tell you, there's a killer in there.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Okay, now
a winner, Matty. She's a winner.
It sure is fantastic. The Matildas, their campaign has ended. It's been disastrous. They went down 2-1 from Australia to the USA. Apologies, Rudy. Before we talk about the fallout today, let's talk about the performance. What did you think?
I thought it was poor, exceptionally poor. And I don't blame the players because I think the way they set up, Matty, was so negative and so defensive. You know, it's not like we're the 100th ranked team in the world. We're number 12 in the world. And we're playing the US who are number 5. Yet we set up without it. We didn't play with that. We played with 5 defenders, 5 midfielders basically. Hayley Rasso played as basically a false 9. And they were defending. They were defending so deep. They just they encouraged the US to attack us, and I think they were hoping to score on the break against them. But look, they would have got through with a draw, and I think they played for the draw, and I think that's a really negative attitude. And I think Australians respect you if you attack and you play with positivity. And I just think there was nothing positive about that performance until they fell behind. The last 30 minutes maybe they played all right, but we're a better team than that, Matty, and that's what disappoints me.
Well, I interviewed Brian Goorjian last month, and I said, okay, you come up against a dream team, how are you going to beat them? He said you play the Australian way. You fight, you hustle, you scratch, and you win that way. And well, I'll ask you this: the tactics, the coach, Tony Kestaff. Do you think he coached that way to try to keep his job, as to not be beaten 3 or 4-0?
Well, potentially, Matty. As I said, I just thought it was really. I don't blame the players because I think they just do what Tony. And tactically, Tony decides the tactics, right? So, and I think tactically you could see today it was a really negative way to play the game. So I don't blame the players because he's the guy who dictates how they play in many respects. And I think we saw him coach his last game today. I think the time has come. I think he looked like a guy who was defeated and didn't have a lot of answers. And I think it's time for a change.
Well, Rudy, if we talk about a moment that I reckon typifies the campaign, was in Marseille. They're about to play Germany the day before. And had the press conference. I was there and I saw it. And he was up on his toes, very jovial. How are they? They're ready to go. How's the preparation? Preparation's perfect. Couldn't have been better. They get beat 3-0. We weren't ready.
Well,
Tony, you can't have it both ways, champ.
Today said after the game, we're just hitting our stride. Why are you only hitting your stride after 3 pool games, Matty?
Yeah.
They should be hitting their stride from game 1, and they were off the pace from day 1. And as I said, I thought tactically today, when I saw the way they set up, it sucked the life out of you. It was so deflating to see them set up like that.
And one more thing to mention too, Rudy. Our colleague Jess Halloran.
Yeah.
She's really championed the cause of the Matildas, right? Really championed them. Right of mine, she's been part of their rise, and she has been critical, and rightfully so. And there's elements there, people within Football Australia that have really gone her, and she was quite upset by that. But all her criticism of Tony and the whole preparation was 100% right. Okay, if you're going to accept the praise, then you've got to cop the criticism.
Yeah. And it's been justified in the way they've played and the way that this tournament's gone for them, Matty. So, as I said, I just think there needs to be change now. It just feels to me like Tony's had his day and he needs some fresh voices and some fresh tactics and just a whole new fresh attitude in that footy team.
Righto, this myself and Rudy, today we went to Roland Garros together.
Matty.
Fantastic.
How
we
good.
went to saw Djokovic play. Rudy, I'm going to let you say it. When we went down and sat and watched Joker, what were the first words you said to me? What did you say?
What did I say? I can't remember. What have you done to me?
You said to me, I'd back myself again.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Oh, Rudy.
Well, look, the game of tennis, when I watch it from a distance, it doesn't seem like they hit the ball that hard. So I actually fancied myself. But I've got to say, then Matty and I went on to show court 6. And in show court 6, you can just about touch the players. And those what were they, Czechoslovakian and German doubles players, they hit the ball pretty hard. I might have struggled against them. But the Joker, I fancied myself.
The Joker?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Rudy, there's one more element of that, because when they let us in for the doubles, there was no seats. And I said, well, there's a few here, Rudy. So we went and sat down. Turns out we're sitting with the families and the coaches, right? At one point, the Czech player looked over and he was staring at us as if to say, who are those two imbeciles? So,
What about the German bloke on Avenue? Matty's gone, just back yourself, brother.
good on you, Rudy. I tell you what, it's been a big day. Look, before we get on to the bomber Peter Bedell, in the BMX, Australia picked up the first ever female medal, got a bronze. Natalia Doom, Queensland girl, mate, what a character. Sculled the beer. They said, what does it feel like to win bronze? She said it was rose gold. Fantastic.
How good is that, Matty? It was a good day today. Lucky I wasn't there. I might have brought her on to an end.
Thanks, Rudy.
No worries, guys.
Peter Bedell joins us. Peter, you're not much better than Rudy.
Well, we've got the Black Widow, and I'm the Grim Reaper.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'll tell you the story, boys. So they say, Pete, you're off to the diving, day one. Women's synchro final, 3 metres. I'm like, you beauty. They're a medal chance. I'm like, I could be the first journo to deliver a medal at these games for News Corp, Australia.
Don't worry. I saw the text.
Yeah, so I was right. So get to the last dive. They've sewn up bronze. We're sweet. And I'm there texting the boys, yes, I've got the first medal, boys. Here we go. And then they pull off the worst dive of the meet. They end up 5th. The Grim Reaper strikes. And then it gets better. Yeah. I go to the boxing for 3 days and 6 Aussies have been knocked out. So who knows what could happen over the next week.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's plenty of superstars right at this Olympics. But if you think the dream team are the biggest superstars, then you're dreaming. Simone Biles. What about her? Superstar is an understatement.
She's a tiny superstar. I mean, she's 142 centimetres, probably one of the smallest athletes at these games. But how she shines bright and big. I mean, some of the people in the crowd, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Keith Urban, Natalie
Snoop Dogg.
Dogg.
Well, LeBron James has said, and the Dream Team has said, we're here to win gold, but we're also here to see Simone. Yeah. And like she is at the moment, arguably, she's the biggest superstar. She was arguably, as far as sports, the biggest superstar on the planet. Isn't she at the moment?
And to go with that, Matty, the pressure on her. I mean, 300 million people plus around the world are probably watching her after what she went through at Tokyo with the twisties and some of the mental health battles she talked about.
Absolutely. And to let people know this, like the twisties is basically, it's a gymnast term for where it's a type of vertigo. So when you're doing a flip, you lose total awareness and control of what you're doing. And she didn't retire. She quit the Tokyo Games. She was a little criticised for that. She had a few years off. They didn't think she was going to come back. She's come back bigger and better.
Yeah, I get the twisties on a daily basis, boys.
Yeah, I know.
But look, I mean, her dominance in this sport's incredible. I mean, she's got 23 World Championship golds. 23. Yeah. That is ridiculous. And she's had 5 moves named after her. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any athlete around the planet that's had that many moves named after him or
dance
her.
Moves after the great breakdancing.
Breakdance. Street beaters. Shout out to Pookie and the boys. I've got to say there's so much about her, but we aren't supporting her. We are supporting a 17-year-old Sydney girl, Ruby Pass, who is competing against Simone tomorrow. Yeah. Unbelievable. When she qualified, she put for the Olympics, she put her head in her hands and cried. And they said, you're going to compete against Simone Biles. She said, this is insane. Yeah. What a great story that is.
I mean, you know, boys, when I was 17, the hardest thing for me was trying to get my proof of age licence.
I thought that was going to go to a very strange place.
I wouldn't take you there, boys. We're a family show. But look, it's unbelievable. I mean, she's 17. I mean, the nerves of steel to make a final. And a girl now living in Brisbane, trains 31 hours a week, has had 3 broken wrists throughout her career, her young career, fledgling career, to be on the same stage as Simone. This is remarkable, and let's hope she holds her nerve, because this is a historic moment for Australian gymnastics.
Absolutely. Now, here at the Games, there's so many characters, and Anna Hollis caught up with one.
This is the Olympics and we celebrate our wonderful athletes, but I'd like to introduce you to the woman the world is talking about. This is the Dublin granny. 92-year-old Pam is here to support her granddaughter, Aoife Coughlin. And Pam, you have gone viral because you managed to move from your seats and get as close to the mats as possible in your red beret and your sunglasses. Tell us how it happened.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm very proud to be here to represent the family, and we love Aoife very much, and she did her very best, and it was all very emotional as far as I'm concerned. But I'm here now with Stephen, my son, and 2 of my 12 grandchildren. I also have 3 great-grandchildren in Dublin, Ireland. I'm very proud of them all, and particularly of Aoife, because she was a wonderful person. And I was over in Australia when she was only 4 months old, and I gave her a first cuddle, and I'm still cuddling her, and I love them all to bits. So.
Now, the question, Pam, that the world wants to know is how did you end up basically on the mats for the performance?
Well, we booked the seats, paid for the seats, and we had 2 lovely seats, not too far away, but on account of it being so small, there was a barrier. Well, just the top of the thing was right across my eyes. So one of the security ladies happened to spot this and came over and said, would you like to move? She said, a little closer to mat 1. That's where Aoife was fighting. And I said, certainly, I'd love to. I said, if that's possible. So she says, now, I'll help you down. She says, and we have 2 chairs. I said, can Stephen come with me? Because he was beside. The other 2 grandsons were further up on the opposite side. And we moved down, and we had a ringside seat. And it was just wonderful, really and truly. All very emotional, but very, very proud we're all together. And I might get to 2028 to see another Olympics, and that'll be actually 3, and the other one that I missed in Tokyo on account of the COVID.
No one could go to Tokyo, but here we go. We'll count down to 2028. Dublin Granny's going to be there. So wonderful to meet you as well, Steve and Takana.
Thank you, and lovely to meet you, Hannah and Chris. Thank you very much indeed. Bye. Vive la France!
Oh, you got to love the Irish. 92 years old. What a champion. Stoic, tough people. Now, Bomber, you've been covering the boxing. A lot of big stories in and outside the ring.
Unbelievable, mate. Well, inside the ring for a start, our Australian super heavyweight, Terra Moana Jr., he's the biggest super heavyweight in our Olympic history, 100-year Olympic history, 198 centimetres, 120 kilos. The first super heavyweight in our history to win a fight, 169-second knockout. It was brutal, it was savage, and it showed that he is the real deal in this tournament. And he now fights Bokadir Jolalov, who's the defending gold medalist. It's probably going to be one of the fights of the Olympics. And if he wins this one, which I think he can, he will start as the outsider. If he can win this, I think he's on the way to gold. Wow. So it's a massive fight. It's on Friday night here in Paris, Saturday morning in Australia, but it's going to be a blockbuster. Let's hope he can do it.
Yeah, we wish him all the very best. Now, Pete, been a very, very complex issue taking place at the Games.
Yeah, around gender testing, Matty, and biology. And look, there's been 2 fighters who will fight over the next few days, Aman Khalif from Algeria and Lin Yu Tin from Chinese Taipei. Now, they were banned from the World Championships last year for failing sex tests. Now, according to the International Boxing Association, they had excessive testosterone levels and they were stripped of medals. Now, the IOC has overlooked that and they've ruled that they can fight because they're on their passports, they're deemed to be women. Yep. So they're at loggerheads over this. It's caused a massive drama. Caitlin Parker, the Australian captain today, called for these DSD, disadvantaged sexual athletes, to be banned, saying they got elevated testosterone and could hurt a woman in the ring. It's a complex issue, delicate issue.
Have they been winning here?
Well, they haven't. They've yet to fight. They're yet to fight Maggers. They will over the next 2 days. But interestingly, guys, look, they haven't been totally dominant. They've won golds, silvers, but they have lost fights. So they're not unbeatable. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how they go because it is a complex one, Matty.
To say the least, Pete. Guys, loved it. It's actually about 2 a.m. in the morning. They've got the street sweepers in here. And Rudy's starving. We've got to get that tomahawk steak. Speak to you tomorrow.